Hey guys, we're here with our IBA Season 3 Week 5 matchup taken on NoivernNation and his Las Vegas Galladers. Davion will be in the description below. Make sure you guys go check him out. He's actually a very good friend of mine, one of my very first friends in the Pokemon community, so very good to be battling him again. It's been a while since we have, so absolutely make sure you guys go check him out. But real quick, we will go over the team that I drafted and the team that he has for this season as well. My team, if you did not know, actually, we'll start with his team, because that's the way I normally do it, and I just don't want to screw up my system like I just tried to do. The team he has this season is Mega Venusaur, Victini, Rotom-w, Crocodile, Goodra, Gardevoir, Hitmontop, Scizor, Noivern, Stantler, and Leavanny, with Victini, Crocodile, and Noivern being his Zmons. My team, if you did not know, is Mega Charizard X, Manaphy, Xurkitree, Decidueye, Skarmory, Donphan, Cresselia, Alolan Persian, Deontay, Swellow, and Hariyama, with Manaphy, Xurkitree, and Decidueye being my Zmons. So looking at the team he has a team that really struggles against Manaphy if I bring the right coverage, which I feel like I did. His obvious SPDF answer to the likes of Manaphy is Goodra, and the only thing he has that outspeeds it is Noivern. Victini does speed tie it, however, so I do need max speed to mid, as you guys can see. So I figured that should probably be the first thing that we decide to bring on this team. So we have Majesty, our Manaphy, holding the Psychium Z with the ability Hydration, has the moves Tail Glow, Surf, Psychic, and Energy Ball, with 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed, with a Timid Nature. Pretty basic set, that amount of speed ties Victini. If I get a Tail Glow up, Surf and Energy Ball hit the likes of his team pretty well. Besides that Goodra, I have Surf for Victini, Energy Ball for Rotom, Surf for Crocodile, Surf hits Gardevoir, Psychic hits Hitmontop, Surf hits Scizor for neutral damage. Noivern could be a decent check to it, but it's just not very bulky. Same with Stantler and Leavanny. Like, I don't have the coverage to hit them, but they're less bulky, and I don't know how likely they are to come. I'm actually very confident Noivern will be coming because Davion has brought Noivern to his first 4 matches. This is week 5, and he has brought him to all 4 of his first matches. There's no reason for him to stop now. If I had to predict a 6, I would say Venusaur, Victini, Goodra, Noivern. I don't think he'll bring both Noivern and Goodra, on second thought. One of the two. I think he'll bring Crook. I think he'll bring Rotom. So that's Venusaur, Victini, Rotom, Crook, Goodra or Noivern, and then maybe like him on top. That would be a good 6, I think. Maybe Gardevoir. I think Scizor, Stantler, and Leavanny are less likely to come. I feel like I had the checks to them and they aren't really necessary. But we'll make it work if they do come. So the Z Psychic at +3 does OHKO Mega Venusaur. At +3, Psychic has a chance. It does a good chunk to Mega Venusaur if it's SPDF. It does about 72 min, about 90 max, I believe was the calc or so. So I can take 2 no problem, or I could deal out 2 no problem, and he can't Giga Drain or Leech Seed that amount, or Synthesis that amount of health back anyways. So we will be okay against that. The next mon on this team is Excalibur and our Skarmory, holding the leftovers with the ability Sturdy, has the moves Spikes, Roost, Brave Bird, and Defog. With 252 HP, 4 attack, 80 defense, and 172 special defense. That special defense investment takes HP fires from Venusaur comfortably, so I can comfortably switch into this thing. I threaten it out with Brave Bird. I could defog away his hazards if he sets them up. He has Crocodile that gets rocks, and he has Leavanny that gets webs. That is it for his hazard setters. So, and just because my strategy relies very heavily on Manaphy, I don't want to not bring hazard removal this week, just in case he decides to bring webs on Leavanny. So, if he does bring Leavanny, I will probably be leading either this or Swellow. That you guys also see is on the team, just to make sure that I deal with it, just in case he decides to lead Leavanny. I don't want him setting up webs, because I win this game with Manaphy, and I don't want to be slower than Victini for sure. Spikes, because his team struggles very heavily against hazards. His removal options are Hitmontop to spin, and Noivern to defog, and Rotom to defog as well. And I made my Decidueye very specifically to be able to switch into Rotom and Hitmontop, so that I could help keep those hazards off the field. If he does decide to bring Defog on Noivern, which Davion, if you do that, reevaluate your priorities, please. That little bit of attack investment actually guarantees a 3-hit KO on max defensive Venusaur, just in case he decides to go that route, so that's actually kind of nice as well. Yeah, that's our Excalibur this week. The next mon on this team is going to be Houdini, our Decidueye, holding the leftovers with the ability Overgrow. Has the moves Giga Drain, Roost, Toxic, and Spirit Shackle with 252 HP, 56 special attack, 24 special defense, and 176 speed with a Calm Nature. That amount of speed is speed creeping Rotom, defensive Rotom, which I believe he has to bring as a check to Charizard. A mostly defensive Rotom I imagine he'll have to bring. I don't think there's any way he can't. Giga Drain, that way I can comfortably switch into Rotom if he decides to bring Will-O-Wisp. I don't have to worry about burn, and he could Pain Split off damage, and just basically we're not going to make a lot of progress with it if I brought Leaf Blade. So I figured I would want to bring Giga Drain a special set just in case he brings Will-O-Wisp on Rotom. Spirit Shackle, Toxic Roost to Toxic Stall the Goodra. And really anything else that he wants to bring in besides the Venusaur and the Scizor that can't be toxic. And then obviously the stuff I don't want to stay in against, such as Victini and Noivern. I can slowly whittle down those Pokemon using Toxic Spirit Shackle, and I can Roost off the damage. I can Giga Drain off the damage if that's safer to be attacking as well. So it's a bulky-ish, speedy-ish Decidueye. It switches into Rotom Wash, no problem. It switches into Hitmontop, no problem, because I can block the Rapid Spin. He gets no coverage to hit me besides like Stone Edge and Pursuit. So that's really all he's working with, and that's very easily boostable. So yeah, no big deal there. The next one on this team is going to be all doing our Mega Charizard X, holding the Charizard X with the ability Blaze. Has the moves Dragon Claw, Roost, Will-O-Wisp, and Flare Blitz with 248 HP, 28 attacks, 44 defense, 172 special defense, and 16 speed with an Adamant Nature. This is my switch into Victini. That defensive investment comfortably takes Band-Aid V-Creates if he decides to bring those. I can take Bolt Strikes, no problem. Zen Headbutts, I take a little over 50%. But if he decides to bring Zen Headbutt Victini, I will plan to have to revenge it with Manaphy or Swellow, which is why Rocks and Spikes are going to be imperative this match. I want to make sure that I'm playing the hazard game right, or as best I can, because I want to be able to whittle down his team. I imagine this will be a very switchy type of game. Dragon Claw to just for general stab and to help knock out the Goodra. It does kill max HP, does not kill defensive. That's okay. Flare Blitz, just because I can't really just bring Dragon Claw with the likes of Gardevoir there. When you have a Fairy type, I can't just bring Mono Dragon type moves. It just doesn't work for me. Flare Blitz is also good for the Gardevoir, for the Scizor, for the Venusaur, just general stab really. Roost and Will-O-Wisp just to give recovery and stalled out his team a little bit. I imagine Venusaur will be his, and Rotom will be his switch into this, so I could have brought Toxic for the Rotom, but I felt like Will-O-Wisp was a little bit more middle of the road, being able to deal with Venusaur and Rotom. So yeah, that is going to be it for Alduin. The next one on this team is going to be Hope, our Diancie, holding the leftovers with the ability Clear Body. Has the moves Stealth Rock, Diamond Storm, Heal Bell, and Moon Blast with 252 HP, 216 defense, 16 special attack, and 24 speed with a Relaxed Nature. This defensive investment also switches into Victini, just in case something bad happens to Venusaur. It can take a non-banded Bullet Punch from Scizor and set up Rocks. This thing is really here for Rocks and Heal Bell. It is also a pretty good switch into Noivern. If he decides to... Noivern kind of scares me, to be honest with you. I looked at Noivern's coverage, and it actually gets Iron Tail, which probably isn't a great option to bring on Noivern typically, but when my obvious switch into Noivern is Diancie, I'm actually a little bit scared of that, so we are pretty defensive to be able to take one of those, and we Revenge no problem with Diamond Storm and Moonblast. Get up Rocks, Heal Bell off statuses, especially if they happen to the likes of Manaphy or the Decidueye, and really even Swellow as well. That will be imperative this week. So really basic Diancie set. The next mon, or the final mon on this team is actually going to be Patriot, our Swellow, holding the choice specs with the ability Scrappy. Has the moves Boom Burst, Hurricane, Heat Wave, and Air Slash with 24 HP, 252 special attack, and 232 speed. With a Timid Nature, that amount of speed outspeeds Noivern. I have the fastest thing, minus Scarfers, and obviously like agility and all those kinds of boosts and stuff like that. Because Noivern is the fastest thing on his team with 123, Swellow hits 125 base speed, so I do outspeed that. Specs Boom Burst, he has not a lot of switch-ins to that, besides maybe the Goodra. Mega Venusaur is very easily 2-hit KO by Hurricane. It is a chance to 2-hit KO with Air Slash, so if it's ever in a position where it's at like 30%, I would rather go for Air Slash and not risk the miss on Hurricane. I didn't really need extra covers this week, unless I want to bring HP Ice. Boom Burst is basically like an 80% chance to kill Noivern from full. HP Ice would have guaranteed that, but honestly, I'm fine with Boom Burst. I think Noivern will probably take chip damage. Hopefully, it takes rocks, so I'm not that worried about it. Heat Wave, obviously for the Scizor, that would be his main normal type switch in. So yeah, Swellow is probably going to be the breaker this week. Very similar to my strategy last week against Point Blank, where we had Hariyama to break his team, and then Xurkitree to win the game. We have Swellow to break his team, and then Manaphy to win the game, is basically how I imagine this going. So yeah, that is the team we are bringing for this Week 5 match against NoivernNation and the Las Vegas Galladers, and I will see you guys in the battle in just a second. Alright guys, here we are at the battle. Looking at the team he brought, he decided to bring the Noivern, Crocodile, Rotom-w, Leavanny, Hitmontop, and Victini, so no Mega Venusaur, which I thought was very surprising. He did decide to bring the Leavanny, which is a little bit threatening to my team. And like I said in my team prep, if I see Leavanny, I want to lead Skarmory or Swellow. So I'm just going to go ahead and do just that. We're going to lead Swellow as he decides to lead off with his Rotom-w. Now, obviously, Swellow is a really bad matchup against Rotom-w. I can't do a whole lot to it, but my switch into this was Decidueye as he reveals the Thunder Wave, which is smart because I imagine Rotom was for the Charizard. So I'm going to go ahead and click Giga Drain, but I do get paralyzed right here, which is no big deal as he goes into the Hitmontop, but he's going to double out into the Crocodile. As I click Spirit Shackle, trying to stall out this Hitmontop. If I can get away his Rapid Spinner very quickly, then that would be very nice. But he does decide to bring in the Crocodile, and for some reason I thought I was Pursuit Trapped, so I was just going to go ahead and click Giga Drain for damage. But he clicks Knockoff and just kills me anyways, so very bad play on my part. We do lose our Decidueye very early, which isn't good. But I'm going to bring in my Manaphy to revenge, and I'm going to make a big boy play here and click the Energy Ball, predicting the Rotom to come in, which it does. I do get some good chip on it, as I'm going to click Energy Ball again. As he switches out to the Hitmontop, I do get a Spadef drop. I didn't want to risk clicking Psychic and him living because I didn't know his set yet, so I wasn't going to be about that life. I was just going to go ahead and go into Skarmory and start setting up spikes. Threaten this thing out with Brave Bird. So he's going to go into his Crocodile, which is not a huge deal. I'm going to go ahead and start setting up spikes and start getting some chip damage as he decides to switch around his team. As he's going to set up rocks, which I don't have a hazard removal that I want to use at this point. I do have Defog on Skarmory, but I don't want to click it right now just because I am trying to set up all these damn spikes. He's going to click Knockoff here and get rid of my leftovers, and I'm going to go ahead and click Brave Bird here to gauge the damage and see if I can figure out more about this Crocodile set. I'm going to go ahead and Roost up as he decides to bring in his Rotom-w, which again is not an ideal matchup for me, and I did lose my Rotom switch in, which is unfortunate. So I'm just going to have to try to get off as much as I can with this Skarmory as he clicks Discharge, which will 2-hit KO my Skarmory. Skarmory is less important because he did not bring Mega Venusaur, and that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my third layer of spikes as his Rotom-w is able to kill our Skarmory. So he is up 6-4 early, not looking too good for us, as I'm going to go ahead and bring in our Charizard. And I'm going to go ahead and try to Will-O-Wisp this thing and nullify its leftovers and stop it from getting some passive recovery. I'm going to miss my Will-O-Wisp, but he's going to click Thunder Wave and miss that, so really pointless turn 14. No big deal. I'm going to go ahead and Roost off the damage, figuring he'd be threatened now by the Will-O-Wisp now, as he clicks Thunder Wave and misses again. Trust me guys, this isn't the first time that unfortunate stuff happens to Davion. I just wait. I'm going to go ahead and click Dragon Claw, honestly still predicting this Rotom-w to want to get the heck out of here. Just trying to get some damage off on whatever wants to come in. As he decides to paralyze me with Thunder Wave and clicks Hydro Pump the next turn, does get a crit and I get paralyzed, which is unfortunate, but that's okay, we'll make it work. He's going to go ahead and Volt Switch out, as I believe I'm just going to go ahead and try to Roost off this damage. As he brings in his Hitmontop, which is a very good play on his part. He is unfortunately going to be able to spin away those spikes no problem, but the spikes did get a good chunk out of Hitmontop's health, so I do have that going for it, but ultimately Skarmory's efforts were in vain. Unfortunate. Oh well, we'll make it work. He's going to Rapid Spin away those spikes no problem, and figuring he would be threatened out by the Moonblast from the Dancy that I just brought in, I'm going to go ahead and set up my rocks as he clicks Toxic. Which is no big deal because I am carrying Heal Bell, and this is a good opportunity to heal the Toxic that he just put on my DNC, as well as get rid of the Paralysis that's on Charizard. He's going to go ahead and click Earthquake, which does a not excellent chunk to DNC, to be honest with you. I click Heal Bell and get rid of the status that has been passed around on my team. Realizing now that he's just going to stay in and try to get some damage off on my DNC, I'm just going to start clicking Moonblast and start doing some damage to it. Earthquake will take me down to about 50%, and another Moonblast will be able to kill this thing. As Davion's going to make the smart play and just sack off his Hitmontop and with a rapid spin and make sure that the rocks are away. Obviously, he doesn't want rocks on his team because of the likes of Levanny and Victini and Noivern, and even the Rotom doesn't really appreciate the chip damage it's going to be taking. He decides to bring in his Rotom Wash, and I do not want to take a Hydro Pump with Diancie. Diancie absolutely still has a purpose in this match because of that Noivern. So he's going to click Hydro Pump and miss as I bring in my Charizard, which is unfortunate. Now I'm going to go ahead and click Will-O-Wisp. And I do hit this time, and we'll start nullifying this Rotom's leftovers. As he clicks Thunder Wave and misses again. Unfortunate, but nothing can be done about that. I'm going to click Dragon Claw again and try to get some more damage off on this Rotom Wash, as he's going to click Thunder Wave again and paralyze my Charizard. I'm going to go ahead and just click Dragon Claw one more time, trying to kill off this Rotom as he clicks Hydro Pump. I do live it. We are able to take this thing out with a Dragon Claw, but Charizard is very weak. It has absolutely served its purpose this match. So whatever he brings in, I'm probably going to have to sack it off too, as he decides to bring in Crocodile and clicks Knockoff. And I'm going to go ahead and sack that off. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Swellow here. Figuring that it's time to start breaking his team and try to get Manaphy into the best position it can, that it can try to win this game. So I'm going to click Boom Burst as he decides to switch into his Levanny. It will not be able to take another Boom Burst. So Levanny was on this field for like a turn and a half, really. So good for Levanny, I guess. Boom Burst will take that out. He decides to bring in the Victini, and I click Boom Burst, which this does not do a whole lot of damage to me. This reveals to me he's probably either Spadef or Assault Vest, as a Bolt Strike will be able to take me out. I'm going to go ahead and go into my Diancie here and scare him out, because I revealed I was so physically defensive earlier. I'm going to scare him out, thinking I can take a hit, and I'm going to go ahead and click Diamond Storm, trying to take out the Victini, but he switches out into Crocodile. I do get a defense boost here. This is very important, actually, because this Earthquake will not kill me with the defense boost, and I'm actually going to go ahead and get my Rocks up, which is huge for taking that a 25% chunk out of Victini and Noivern late game. That's going to be very important. He decides to take me out with another Earthquake, gets a crit, doesn't matter, it would have killed me anyways. So it's Manaphy versus the world. Manaphy easily takes on this Crocodile. I don't want to risk setting up a Tail Glow just in case I don't win the speed tie with Victini, and I want to have enough HP to possibly take a Bolt Strike, because if he's Assault Vest, there's a chance I can. So I'm going to go ahead and click Surf. He wins the speed tie, clicks Bolt Strike, and misses. With Victini's ability in Victory Star, that's not a likely chance that it misses that, so it's so unfortunate that he missed that Bolt Strike. That would have done a huge chunk to Manaphy. We did calcs after the game. I don't believe it would have killed, but it would have basically put it in a position where this Noivern would be able to win the game with Draco Meteor, but it gets worse. Oh dear. He's going to go ahead and click Draco Meteor and miss. Manaphy, I'm going to go ahead and pop my Z move. It's the strongest thing I would have against this Noivern. He does live it. Another Psychic will be able to take him out. I can live a Draco Meteor, but just for good measure, Noivern misses a second Draco Meteor. So we do win this game 1-0. We do squeak by. If he had hit just 2 of those moves, any 2, I would have lost this game. So the Pokegods are looking out for me. Thank you to the higher powers that are looking out for me. I would have lost this game had it not been for that. But anyways, we are going to win 1-0. Very good game to Davion. A very hacksy match. I do apologize. Nothing can be done about it. It was atrocious. Just in case you guys forgot, this game is not fair. It really isn't. And it's going to be very difficult to ever make this game fair. But this is the game we play. We deal with the hacks that comes about, and we suck it up, and we're big boys about it. But that is going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, a like and a subscription would be much appreciated. Next week, we do take on AkkiVGC and the Portland Crobats. Akki is a very good battler in the community. I'm sure tons of you guys know him. I've battled him before. Definitely a very good player. Definitely one of the best as well. So we definitely have our work cut out for us, but I'm looking forward to it. So that is going to be it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.